There's your five. I got a couple questions on my Q&A video that were very similar, and I wanted to make a separate video for them just because they involved more than probably a brief answer. So I figured I'd give it its own video. Both were in kind of the context of, bodybuilding versus powerlifting type thing. One was, should I focus more as a beginner on getting strong or getting jacked? You see so much confusing information about, 5 reps or below or for strength, and, this rep set is for hypertrophy. And then the other one was, about how much difference there would be between a powerlifting physique and a bodybuilding physique, and if I felt like I could add a lot more muscle on my frame going to hypertrophy specific training. So as far as the first one for beginner, you're going to get strong and jacked at the same time. You see these infographics and these stupid little quick bit, uh, memes, bullet points, etc., that give very generalized statements that are mired in a hint of truth, but without without context, it's sort of irrelevant. Just follow any beginner powerlifting or general strength type training, 5-3-1, something along those lines. I really like the old Juggernaut program, but you can follow any one of those and then sprinkle in some isolation accessory work, and you are going to cover most of your bases. If you, as a beginner, are getting stronger at, squats, bench, deadlifts, overhead presses, barbell rows, getting more efficient at pull-ups, things like that, you're gonna both get strong and jacked at the same time, following these programs, and then sprinkling in some isolation work if you're really, really focused on optimizing your physique as well. It's not something that we need to overcomplicate. It's really, really not a big deal. If you're progressing your strength in the hypertrophy range, if you're doing sets of 10 to 15, and you're squatting 300 pounds for 3 sets of 10, and then 6 months later you're squatting 365 pounds for 3 sets of 10, you're getting more jacked and stronger. I guarantee it. Even if you're using a lower weight range, if you're squatting 365 for 3 sets of 3, and 6 months later you're squatting 435 for 3 sets of 3, and you're doing accessory work elsewhere and things like this, you're definitely stronger, and more than likely you're more jacked as well. I don't think it's something you need to stress about. If physique is more important than you, do your exercises with much more range of motion where applicable. Take them closer to failure more often, in a safe manner, of course, and definitely, whatever lagging body parts you have, focus your isolation work there. It's really not super complicated. And if, again, physique being the goal, skew towards more reps, and you're still going to get stronger anyway. Like, it's not like you're not going to not get stronger just because you're doing hypertrophy scheme of reps. Trust me, if you're getting stronger and progressing on 10 and 15 rep sets, you're going to be getting stronger on your 1s, 3s, and 5s as well. It may just take a little bit of time to acclimate yourself to the intensity, but your potential will certainly be higher. That's how block periodization works. As far as the other question, do I think my physique would be very different training bodybuilding hypertrophy style versus powerlifting? For natural lifters, is there going to be profound difference? Things like that. And I'm probably paraphrasing the question there, and might be butchering it a little bit, but um, powerlifting, bodybuilding, and you're a natural lifter. Your genetics are going to dictate your muscle insertions, of course. And again, there is so much overlap. There's a lot more similarities than there are differences on YouTube and things. We discussed the 10% because 90% of everything is gravy and really fucking simple, and then 10% is the super optimization. There's not going to be a ton of difference, in my opinion. If you took, we'll say myself, and assuming I'm eating similarly, resting similarly, and things like that, my training is powerlifting focused. My 3 big movements are going to take priority: squat, bench, and deadlift. I'm never really going to take them to failure. I'm going to be doing them, in very as efficiently as I possibly can to move the most weight I can. If that means arching a little higher on my bench press, things like that. Not squatting ass to grass. I'm going to squat, to where I need to for the judges to pass it, and things of that nature. But still, as a power lifter, you're going to do secondary work. You're going to do accessory work. A lot of off-season is hypertrophy work. There's a lot of hypertrophy done in powerlifting. Powerlifting training isn't just squat, bench, and deadlift, to 1 rep max every day. I think you guys know that, and don't mean to insult your intelligence. But there's a lot of hypertrophy training that goes into it. See, you think there was no hypertrophy done during my powerlifting training? And bodybuilding, obviously, there's not going to be the focus on those 1 rep maxes. You're still going to be getting stronger, and strength, again, should still be emphasized while you're bodybuilding. Not, again, I want to have the all-time best 1 rep max I can have, but, again, whatever you're working on, if you're using, a wider grip bench press or incline bench press or whatever the case may be, your seated overhead shoulder press, whatever scheme you're working in, and you're working towards failure, to drive that hypertrophy, you're still going to want to make progress there, not at the detriment of altering the movement. All right, so if I can flat back Larson press 500 pounds, or I could set up in my full competition arch and I've benched 550. If the goal is to bench as much weight as possible, I'm going to make that sacrifice. If I'm working on my chest, specifically, and I can Larson press, say I'm doing 315 for, 4 sets of 10 or whatever the case may be, altering that to go to my competition bench press, where then I'm going to arch more, I'm going to take some chest out of it, and I'm going to tuck my shoulders, my elbows a little bit more. I'm going to bring my grip in a little bit because I'm stronger with a closer grip. Now I'm altering that and changing that, and it's not focused on my chest anymore. And maybe instead of 315 for 4 sets of 10, I'm doing 335 for 4 sets of 10. But I'm not getting as much emphasis on my chest. I'm not getting the pump in the chest like I want to. I'm not taking them as close to failure as I want to. So there's differences there. Anyway, I'm talking in circles. I don't think there will be profound differences if I, everything else the same. I trained for powerlifting for 10 years. Everything else the same. I trained for bodybuilding for 10 years. The biggest differences are, in bodybuilding, there's going to be the focus on body parts, whereas powerlifting, it's on the lifts. So I'm going to have a developed chest because bench press. My triceps are going to be good. My shoulders are going to be good. My quads, my glutes are going to be big. My core is going to be strong. But I'm going to lack biceps. My forearms are probably going to be lacking a little bit. My calves are going to be, whatever genetics dictate, because I'm not working them hardly at all. Maybe hamstrings are going to be a little underdeveloped too, just depending upon squat styles and things like that. So is my physique going to be better if it was bodybuilding focused? Yes, but not necessarily because I focused more on hypertrophy, because there's a big focus on hypertrophy in powerlifting too. It's just with the emphasis of making the muscles that make the movements move better. Whereas in bodybuilding, it's making all the muscles in a complete package. And that's where the differences are going to be, is there's not going to be as many lagging body parts. And, you know, say powerlifting me at whatever, say I was 220 pounds and 15% body fat, versus bodybuilding me at the same weight and the same body fat percentage, I'm probably going to look not extremely more jacked, because again, genetics did dictate my muscle insertions, and some of them are going to be very similar because there's a lot of crossover. But there's going to be a more complete package, and there's definitely going to be a noticeable difference. Again, profound, no. Being fully clothed, probably not going to notice very much at all. But, you know, if you did those nice, you know, half natty lighting shots and things like that, the main difference is going to be the physique is going to be more complete, and in unison with each other. Whereas the powerlifting physique, while still going to be very similar, is going to be a little more disproportionate. If you're looking at it, going through it with a fine-tooth comb, you know, you're going to have those muscles that help in powerlifting are going to be overly emphasized, and there's probably going to be some lagging body parts, is what I think would be the main difference. But again, not extremely a profound difference, because there's way more similarities than there are differences in bodybuilding and powerlifting as far as the training goes. I've always said the main difference is, you know, there's training the lift, there's training the body parts, and then the off season for powerlifting is very much bodybuilding based. But again, it's training muscles to train the lift, not training the muscles to look good, but you're still hypertrophy training those muscles. In bodybuilding, you know, you're bringing up lagging body parts in your off season and, you know, training the muscles. Just in season, the bodybuilders are getting shredded, getting ready to get on stage. And then the powerlifters in season are taking that muscle built, and instead of displaying it, you know, they're taking it and training it to display the strength of the muscle, from a competitive standpoint anyway. So, yeah, this video ended up being longer than I thought it would, and I'm glad I separated it from the rest of the Q&A. So, peace!